Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Peter Jennings, and I go by CSURAM88 across the daily fantasy industry. Back again here at FantasyLabs doing another lineup review, this time of the PGA Championship, which makes me a bit sad. It's the last major of the year. Very excited for April now, I guess, for the next major. One of my favorite things in sports is watching the majors. I generally watch the weekends with my dad, and it's just one of those classic father-son things that I really enjoy. And I really do enjoy the sweat and just the vibe of golf. I'm an avid golfer myself now, so a bit sad to see the majors go. It's the last time that there's kind of really a ton of huge tournaments. I'm sure there'll be some other big ones, and we have the 1 million Fantasy Golf Championship on DraftKings coming up down the road here. But sad to see the majors go, and definitely a little disappointing weekend for me relatively. Was looking great in the Thunderdome and other contests. Still had a good weekend overall, but had a chance to have a great weekend, and I ran really well during the majors this year. Not quite as well for the normal tournaments. Hopefully I can change that down the stretch here with some good showings in some other tournaments here in the PGA. But the majors, for whatever reason, were good to me last year and were good to me this year, which made them really enjoyable to watch. So let's take a look here at my Thunderdome team. And like I said, this was a really disappointing finish. If you were watching, I had two horses that were really kind of the key for me doing well in this Thunderdome because everyone had a lot of exposure to Dustin Johnson and Rory McIlroy. Both were over 50% owned. So there are a lot of teams that didn't have many guys make the cut. 5 of 6 was actually a big advantage. There was only one 6 of 6 in the entire Thunderdome. And that team didn't even finish. It finished 7th. It was Chipotle Addicts teams. So having 5 of 6 through is a big advantage. And I had two horses, Henrik Stenson and Brendan Grace, both of whom are, were looking great. Especially Grace started off so hot and had a great round going on Sunday, which was basically moving this team up the leaderboard. And then he didn't finish well, hit it in the water on 18 and made a bogey towards the end of the round. So he finished poorly, and then Stenson, if you were watching, he went on massive tilt after he hit it over the green. I believe it was on 15, and he double bogeyed that hole, then missed an easy birdie on 17, and on 18 actually flushed his 3-wood over the green, 18 being a very easy birdie hole, especially for him, hitting the 3-wood as well as he has. So he didn't finish well, and that cost me, especially against Jay Barton, who didn't have Stenson, and even primetime 2-4, 2-1, if Stenson wins, I was in position to do well. So it was a little frustrating, but I like the choices I made here on my teams. As you can see here, I'll show you some of the other ownerships just with my teams and who I played. A lot of missed cuts. I had a ton of JB Holmes who hurt me, Brendan Steele. But just looking through here, like the ownerships on Rory and Dustin, 53 and 50%, just very, very high. So some interesting choices this week. I think my process was pretty good. The thought process on this team was just kind of going for the best value golfers, especially looking at some of the cut percentages. Snedeker popped for me at the end because his percentage to make the cut was so high. So I ended up taking him on this team and used him a bit in cash games. Schwartzel was an obvious one. He was 53%. JB Holmes was my big guy that if he would have made the cut, I would have been in really good shape. Had a lot of great 6 of 6 teams, but unfortunately he did not. Brendan Grace we talked about as being an elite upside play. Same with Stenson and Watson. So felt really good about this team. I had 3 entries in here. The team cashed for $25,000, so made a little under $10,000 on the tournament, which isn't bad. A couple buy-ins back on the Thunderdome. So I'm pretty pleased with my teams, and I think I made good choices overall. And we talked about all these guys throughout the content that we did for the PGA Championship. So let's take a look here at the winning team. It was Jet Black. Had 5 of 6 here. Jason Day just really catapulted him up the leaderboard, and that's the thing that just was shocking to me. I didn't expect Jason Day to be 6%. If you go back and look at my teams just real quick, I had Jordan Spieth at 10%, and I specifically played him for the ownership angle. I thought he would be 6 to 10%, and that would be a great play. I thought Dustin, Rory, and Day would share a lot of the ownership. The narrative on Day actually got really bad towards the end because he was sick, or his wife was sick, and he didn't get there and only played 9 holes of practice and really kind of just threw himself out there at the tournament. So I guess that knocked his ownership down in this Sharp tournament, which made him just an incredible play at 6%. He was a no-brainer, had an incredible round, and that eagle on 18 really helped a lot of people. So Jet Black took it down. Great DFS golf player and great roster with Cabrera Bello, Day, Fowler, Grace, JB Holmes, and Sullivan. So again, Holmes being the 1 week link for Jet Blacks like me. I thought he was a great play. And the one thing you saw with Holmes, even with all those bogeys, he still made a lot of birdies, which is something I'm definitely looking for, is guys who score well. And I think Holmes is an elite option in that regard. Let's take a look here at the Millionaire Maker winning team, which is just ridiculous. Another great score. And having the guys that this guy had on his team is just absolutely incredible. So Jason Day at the top, only 9%, almost 10% owned in the Millionaire Maker. So again, great play. Zach Johnson, 10%. Keimer, 5.5%. I sprinkled him in. Always a good play in majors, in my opinion. Keimer is kind of regardless if you're making a bunch of tournament teams. Webb Simpson, higher variance golfer because his putting's been poor, but actually showed really well. I think there's a lot of reasons to like Webb Simpson down the stretch. Summer Hayes at 0.8%. Summer Hayes wasn't on my radar at all. His strength is generally putting, and he made 2 eagles, one which he holed, from the fairway on a par 4. And then Jimmy Walker, who wasn't playing that great coming in, was playing I guess a little bit better after the Canadian Open, but 1.6% owned, takes it down. Just shows the power of having a contrarian play. And a great choice overall. The one thing about Jimmy Walker that does make sense was it was a good course fit with driving distance. He's a great driver of the golf ball, and they kept talking about how his swing is finally coming to fruition. Worked a lot with Butch Harmon, I guess, on his swing, and I guess it's coming together, and it showed. I mean, he played incredible golf the whole week, all 4 rounds under 70. Definitely a deserving winner, and big time congrats to Jimmy Walker and to Bushler 22,000C or 2200C. So fun tournament. Again, sad to see the majors go. I'll have some more golf content coming out. Sorry about last week not doing a review. Had a little family emergency, but everything's good in that regard now. So hope that we can have some good upcoming weeks here. There's still time to qualify for the $1 Million Golf Championship on DraftKings, something I have a couple seats into, and hopefully I'll see some of you guys in there as well. So good luck in all your contests going forward. Football season's coming up quickly, and hope you guys hope to see more Fantasy Lab subscribers at the top of the leaderboard.